very famous, well-known salmon pattern. Now, I'm going to tie this wee fly. I'm going to tie this wee fly for a guy called David Kerr. Now, David was one of the very first subscribers to my YouTube channel, and David hasn't been a bit well at the minute, and I believe this is one of his most favourite salmon flies. This and the alley shrimp, but I'll tie you the blue charm. Anyway, the hook and the vise is a Partridge Patriot single in size 8. The thread that I'm going to use to tie the fly is a uni thread 80 in black. So we're just going to come in and we'll get the thread started just behind the eye of the hook. I'm just going to run on a bit of thread to there, a couple of mil even, just until where the hook is formed. The tag in the rib of the fly is going to be a Vineyard oval silver tinsel in size 14. So let's get a wee drop of this off the spool and trim that off. There's, you can, lots of variations in the blue charm pattern. You can tie it as a feathered wing. I'm going to tie it as a hair wing here. Many different variations. Now I'm just going to work my thread down until I'm in the middle, meaning let my thread go between the point and the barb of the hook. Then I'm going to bring my thread up a couple of mil to there, and then I'm just going to come around with touching turns of the oval silver tinsel, 5-6 turns to there. Follow this around with my thread. Just going to catch this in now. I'm going to tie this one with another part of the tag to it. I'm just run that up to there and come in and trim away the excess now. Just keep that, that'll do my rib. At this stage I'm going to bring my thread back down. We're going to tie in the tail. The tail is a golden pheasant crest feather. And I have one here dyed yellow. Now the length of the tail is up to you. I usually like my tail around about the length of the body or so. I'm just offering this over the back of the hook. Then coming around with loose turns just to see what way we're sitting. Right. Just a wee bit long for me, so just going to pull this in a bit. And check again. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. So I'm just going to tighten up. I'm just going to bring it up just the length of the wee tag I'm going to put on the back here. You don't have to do this. It's just that this is the last of this that I have of a couple of other spools. This is bright yellow floss. And you can put a wee tag on, or a wee hat, but whatever you like to call it. Just going to catch it in here and just tighten up. I'm going to bring the floss down to the tail of the fly and back up again. Right. So I'll have a wee check. Okay, happy with that. And bring it back up. If you don't want to put the yellow tag in, just continue the whole body with black floss. Now at this stage I want to try and keep the body basically as neat as I can, so I'm going to work my thread back up. To tie in my rib. Back in with my oval silver tinsel, just where the eye is formed, where the wire has been bent around, and then just working my thread back down, tying in my oval silver tinsel. Now like I say, the body is just a plain black uni floss, just in black. This is a new spool, so I'll have to take the sticker off, just bear with me. You could use black wool, black seal's fur, anything you've got the flail still work, could be fly tied on a smaller double. So I'm just going to catch this in. Just want to check my length here. Pull this in a wee touch. I'm just going to work my thread up. Just trying to keep this on top. Just want to try and keep the body as smooth as I can. So you have a bit to travel here when you're tying on these bigger singles. Just take your time. You're in no rush. To there. Then we'll come up with our uni floss. Just try and spread it and open it out as you go. If you used a 3-ply black wool and took one of the strands out, you'd cover the shank quicker rather than using the uni floss. Come in and catch that in. A couple of turns on. Catch that in, throw away the excess. Then you can come up with your oval silver tinsel. 5-6 turns of the oval silver tinsel up the body. Follow this around with your thread. A couple of tight turns will secure that in. Come in and trim away the excess. Right, just going to work my thread down a bit and back up. Now there's a throat you can wind. Just put a hackle on, a blue hackle on, just tie it in by a tip, wind it round, or you can just put in a throat, and that's what I'm going to do. This is just a blue hand hackle that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to strip off the rubbish, excuse me, from the bottom, and then I'm just going to come in and take 4 or 5 pinches of the fibre. This blue is really nice, and then just offer this up as a wee throat. Now I want to come in around about halfway sort of way into the body. I'm just going to hold it underneath, pinch and loop up the way. A couple of securing turns just to tie it in. Now at this stage just come in and I just move it around to suit myself. Once I'm happy with the arm, I'm just going to come in and trim away the excess, and we'll just tighten up over that and come back up. Now we're not looking too bad. At this point the wing, this is just grey squirrel tail. You could use red face squirrel tail, many things, like I said at the start, you could use for the wing. You could use mallard, just fold up mallard wing over the top. Maybe need to double up on a hook this size just to give the wing a wee bit more beef. Just taking off some of the squirrel tail here. Just going to clean any fluff out of the bottom. Then I'm going to stack it. I like to stack my squirrel. Just going to give us a wee rattle on my desk. All the tips have lined up for us, so just take this out of the stacker. And you want the squirrel tail coming into your crest feather. Now you can have it shorter than that, you know, but generally speaking you want the white tips coming into your crest feather tail. I'm just going to come around and pinch and loop, then a couple of turns, then I come in and just pack it up just to make sure it's sitting right. Then I come in and trim away the excess. Now usually if I'm tighter to the eye than that, I'll usually trim my squirrel tail over my bin and then tie it in, but we'll have plenty of room there. So at this stage I'm just going to get a wee bit of super glue just onto my thread. Just a squirrel has a terrible tendency to pull out on you, so either super glue or plenty of wax on your thread if you use wax. And then I'm just bringing this down over the cut ends of the squirrel, and then we can build up our head. Now I'm just holding the hook just to stop it from bouncing about on me. Just nice and tight. Just build that head up and that nice shape that you like to see. Keeping your thread tight. I'm just going to come in and throw in a whip finish. Just one of them wee fibres. Just get that to sit back. Just throw in a whip finish. Through the thread, nice and tight. Come in, trim away the tan thread. Now, just to seal the head up, we drop a super glue just on the head, right the whole way right round. Then once that dries, I'll hit that with a couple of coats of varnish, guys, the super glue, just to seal the head up. And there you go. That's just a variation on the blue charm, just using the squirrel tail as the wing. I would probably tie it to fish it on a stubble, on maybe a size 10, size 12. Just scale everything down to suit yourselves in the river that you're fishing. So look, David, if you're watching this wee video, this wee flash view, and I hope you feel better soon, mate, and get well. If you like the wee videos that I'm putting together for YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. Helps the wee channel out. And until next time, folks, stay safe and tie lines. Okay guys, the next wee video up on the channel is this here, wee pattern here, and this is a wee variation on a fly called the Frenzy.